Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're exploring something pretty special. Yangzhou, the art of living slowly. We're actually going to transition completely away from the fast-paced, everyday grind of bustling hubs like Nanjing and step into an ancient city where taking your time didn't just evolve into a lifestyle, it literally became an entire civilization. So if you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by the modern grind, you're definitely going to want to pay close attention to how this city mastered the absolute art of leisure.
You know, the mesmerizing, timeless allure of Yangzhou was probably best captured by the legendary Tang Dynasty poet Li Bai. When he wrote the famous line, "Fireworks descend to Yangzhou in March," he wasn't just talking about the spring blossoms, right? He was actually setting this deeply tranquil, poetic mood that has defined the city for well over 1,000 years. It's a place that has historically drawn poets, emperors, and merchants alike, all of them chasing its unique, misty beauty and totally unhurried charm.
And leaving a city like Nanjing behind presents this stark, almost jarring contrast. While Nanjing has historically served as a relentless, super fast-paced political and economic powerhouse, Yangzhou offers a completely different paradigm. It is this tranquil, waterbound sanctuary. It's not just a quiet town, it is a dedicated civilization of leisure. But that brings up a good question. How exactly does an entire city afford to just slow down and enjoy life?
Well, this culture of leisure didn't just appear out of thin air. Actually, let's be real, it was meticulously funded. For centuries, Yangzhou's prime location on the Grand Canal made it an absolutely vital logistics hub. By the time of the Qing dynasty, salt merchants held a state monopoly, and they amassed unimaginable wealth. And what did they do with it? They poured that money into creating a comfortable, highly refined lifestyle. They became these massive patrons of the arts, beautiful gardens, and incredible cuisine, literally financing the city's slow-paced extravagance.
There's this fantastic local proverb that beautifully structures daily life here. Skin wraps water in the morning, water wraps skin in the evening. So, skin wraps water refers to the local morning tea and dim sum culture. Filling your stomach with warm tea and rich soups. Then, water wraps skin points to the city's legendary bathhouse and pedicure culture. It is this perfectly balanced daily rhythm designed entirely around comfort and relaxation. Just picture the sweet steam gently rising at a traditional zhaocha, the cherished morning tea ritual. In Yangzhou, breakfast is absolutely not something you just grab on the go. No way. It is a generous, sit-down banquet. Locals gather at century-old tea houses like Fuchun or Yechun to sip premium green tea, socialize, talk business, and just slowly awaken their senses. It's a deliberate, intentional pause before the day even begins, setting a tone of absolute tranquility. And you have to try the famous crab roast soup dumpling, which is a total staple of the zhaocha experience. But here's the catch. You cannot eat this quickly, or you will literally burn yourself. There is a precise sensory method to it. First, you open a window by taking a tiny, tiny bite of the crystal-clear skin. Next, you gently sip the incredibly rich, hot crab roe and chicken broth from the inside. Only then do you eat the delicate wrapper. It completely forces you to be present in that exact moment.
We also really have to appreciate the sheer culinary dedication of these morning rituals. Consider the meticulously blanched ganzi. This is dried tofu shredded as thin as matchsticks and blanched repeatedly in boiling water to remove any raw soy flavor, then served in a savory broth. And right beside it, the traditional oil cake, painstakingly folded to create exactly 64 gossamer thin layers of sugar and lard. The incredible patience required to make these dishes is just a testament to their whole philosophy of life. So, stepping out of the tea house, we take a leisurely midday stroll along the misty, winding waters of the aptly named Slender West Lake. And the thing to realize is, this isn't just a natural body of water. It's a deliberate artistic creation. With the weeping willows brushing the jade-green surface and the carefully placed peach trees, it feels like you are walking directly through a three-dimensional classical Chinese painting. Just look at the magnificent 5-pavilion bridge. It looks like a floating palace, doesn't it? It was actually funded and built by those ultra-wealthy salt merchants, specifically to catch the eye of Emperor Qianlong during his southern tours. It brilliantly combines the thick, sturdy grandeur of northern Chinese architecture with the delicate, soaring eaves of the southern Jiangnan region. Leaving the lake, we spend our afternoon exploring the hidden salt merchant gardens. From the street, honestly, you might only see high, unassuming gray walls. But step inside, and you find that immense wealth was poured into creating these private, miniature worlds of perfect harmony. These merchants didn't build massive, towering castles to show off. Instead, they built highly intimate spaces designed for quiet contemplation, poetry, and absolute escape from the outside world. Ji Garden is a prime example of this leisurely extravagance. The original owner loved bamboo so much that he named the garden after the Chinese character Ji because it looks just like a bamboo leaf. But the true masterpiece here is the Four Seasons rockery. By intricately stacking different types of stones and planting very specific vegetation, the designers created 4 distinct zones. You can literally walk through visual representations of spring, summer, autumn, and winter, all in a single afternoon stroll.
1,500 meters. To put that into perspective, that is a nearly mile-long, double-storied covered corridor in another masterpiece, Hin Garden. Imagine the luxury of being able to wander through your property and view the scenery from above, completely shielded from the harsh summer sun or the spring rain. It's this brilliant fusion of classical Chinese landscape artistry with subtle Western architectural elements from the late Qing dynasty.
As the afternoon fades, we wander into the ancient, fishbone-patterned alleys of the Dongguan Street historical block. Basking in that warm golden hour sunlight, you can actually see the deep grooves worn into the stone paths over 1,000 years of footsteps. This was once a bustling center of international trade and salt merchant guild halls, but today, it's where you can truly witness authentic local life unfolding at a wonderfully unhurried pace.
Evening brings the elegant banquets of Huaiyang cuisine. As one of China's major culinary traditions, it is renowned for its absolute obsession with craftsmanship. You are not going to find heavy, tongue-numbing spices here. Instead, it relies on strict seasonality, really highlighting the natural sweetness and freshness of local ingredients. The wealthy merchants of the past demanded absolute perfection, and that pushed local chefs to develop some of the most masterful, delicate knife skills in the entire culinary world.
To understand the sheer magnitude of those knife skills, look no further than Wincy tofu. A chef takes a block of soft tofu and, with astonishing precision, carves it into thousands of strands so incredibly thin that they float weightlessly, literally like hair, when placed in a clear chicken broth. It is culinary art taken to the absolute extreme. A dish that requires ultimate patience and focus from the chef, and demands to be savored slowly by the diner.
Winding down our day, the sun sets and these warm, yellow lanterns illuminate the ancient black tiles and gracefully upturned eaves of the city. The bustling day trippers finally leave, and a deeply romantic, poetic energy settles over the historic neighborhoods. It's exactly the kind of misty, tranquil evening that inspired generations of poets to just sit by the canals and write masterpieces about the moon reflecting on the water. And this brings us full circle to the water-wrapped skin portion of our day. The evening bath culture is a relaxing tradition driven by what locals call Yangzhou's 3 knives: the chef's knife we just talked about, the barber's knife, and famously, the pedicure knife. The Yangzhou pedicure is a highly refined, traditional medical treatment and art form. It's the ultimate symbol of a service industry that evolved specifically to pamper those who knew how to truly deeply relax. As we conclude this explainer, I want to leave you with a profound question to ponder. We've seen how Yangzhou turned leisure into an absolute art form, from morning tea to exquisite gardens to evening baths. But take a look at your own daily life. In an era that is completely obsessed with speed and optimization, how can you carve out just a little bit of time to incorporate your own civilization of slow living? What's your version of a morning tea ritual? Take a breath, slow down, and think about it. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey.